Good evening, and welcome to the Twofold podcast, a bi-weekly podcast where two brothers and a cousin record a podcast. Long time ago, it used to be two movies compared, but
the old days.
Since COVID's stricken and we got lazy, it is one movie now, and basically at this point it's just an excuse to get together and talk about the olden days as warriors and such other things. We'll see where it goes.
You know, I'd like to also find out, Tim, is who's listening would be great.
Who's listening?
If you're out there,
Yeah.
I'd love to know because I don't know who's out there.
It gets lonely up on top.
It feels lonely.
There are some who listen. We get feedback on Instagrams and Twitters, and yes, thank you so much for those who care to comment on their part. You make us good. Philip raises his hand and his finger, or I don't know what these signs are. I'm not from the army, old boy. Tell me what you want.
Signage.
Spoilers. That's all.
Yes. Spoilers. Let's get all the things out of the way. So we did spoilers. Oh, Johnny. Players. Oh. What a song it is.
Johnny.
What a song.
Never get tired of that one. Johnny, good soft fingers on the soft buttons. And yes, we have
sausage fingers.
Yes, we have on the podcast Tim. Hi, I'm Tim. We have Philip.
Hello, I'm Philip.
And we have least but not least. Last but not least.
Least but not least.
Jacob. Yes.
No, we're not doing that again.
Jacob the Gremlin.
It was a hit back then, so I'm repeating it because it was a hit.
All right, so the host of this podcast is, the host of this episode is Tim. Take it away, Tim.
Timothy.
Thank you. The choices, pickings are slim, as usual.
True.
Pickings are very slim.
Slim pickings.
We kind of last week we're quite late, so we had a short time between episodes, but we're back on time. We're back here. We're back on schedule, so you can count on us again for your entertainment.
You can count on us.
Exactly. Hey. But that kind of did, So I just went. Well, the first thing I saw, I picked. I had no idea what this movie is.
So no research was done for this.
Zero.
Nothing. I thought. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, say what you want.
I always felt like you do some research behind this and you're trying to find a good pick.
I do.
So it's very surprising whenever you're like, I don't know what this is. First choice, I'll pick it. Charlize Theron is on it. Let's do it.
COVID times,
because,
I believe.
Yeah, I would do research. I did research. It's just that there was nothing there.
I'm not criticizing this action.
I know.
I'm just surprised.
I usually
also surprised, know Tim as the man who brings things in with a reason behind it.
When I saw the recommendation, I was like, "This is Tim's." I thought this was Phil's.
Yep,
it's very interesting.
I looked, and there was absolutely nothing. Unfortunately, the indie small indie drama movies, anything nothing's coming out. It's just.
I know.
Like Netflixy dribble. So this was the biggest Netflixy dribble, and I was like, Charlize Theron.
The movie is
let's see what this
The Old
is.
Guards.
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard.
The Old Guard. Exactly.
Guard, not God.
Before we talk about the Old Guard, I need to let you know that the only thing that I knew about it was that it said genre action, and then it said fantasy, and I'm like, fantasy? What?
Oh, did you?
I have a story to tell as well with my.
Unfortunately, I was a little bit, just one little word word I see, and then I already kind of, I'm starting to think a little ahead. You know what I mean?
It's all it takes. It's all it takes. Yeah. I didn't see that little. I just honestly just saw Charlize Theron, and I was like, okay.
Isn't there a song called One Word or something like that? One word.
One word. One word is all I need to believe.
Something like that. One word, one something, one kiss is all it takes.
Oh yeah, that's Dua Lipa.
Yeah.
See, I don't know that. I know.
I was thinking
for me,
summer hit. Italy 2000. What was it? 2018?
I remember we were in your car and we were driving, and I remember listening to That's the reverse piano.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the reverse piano.
Yep.
That's actually the reverse piano is a secret trick, secret sauce. Once you hear it in like productions, you'll never unhear it. It's very subtle, but works.
Any of those risers, reverse risers, coming into chorus, and they're everywhere. They're like,
I know. It's always, just to kind of get the...
Especially on the end of every Matrix Minute podcast.
That's right. It's funny when you mentioned that song. What went on in my head with the song was Disney's Millennium Celebration from 2000, where they had this song called "We Celebrate the Future Hand in Hand." No, you guys don't know that song, do you?
No.
Why would I watch a Millennium Disney Celebration?
I want to say, I can't remember if it was you.
It's from Disney World. I don't know.
Or somebody else, or maybe it was like someone from the Foo Fighters. I can't remember. But I heard somewhere that a classic trick, let's say in rock music, is before you get to the chorus, like if you're in the pre-chorus, you play higher on the bass, like you maybe go an octave up, like instead of like the bass going do do do, you go do 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 do, and then down in the chorus, like the trick on the bass. I thought that was interesting. And if you
do that in production as well. You basically, sorry, those internet troubles. I thought you were finished.
I just wanted to say that it's interesting when you learn that you hear that a lot in music. That's a similar effect, like that you said, the reverse riser, the reverse piano. The bass going up creates the tension that then makes the contrast of the bass playing low in the chorus greater. And therefore the perception is like, whoa. If
you're playing one note and you want to make it seem lower than it is, just play something higher. And like even in production, what they do is like they'll put a high pass filter on before the chorus, like the whole song. And you can do it like super... audible, like in electronic or like house music, or you can just put it a little bit, like in any production. You can do it in rock as well. You just remove those basses a little bit and then bring it back for the chorus.
It's the same thing also, like what I noticed, especially in rock, is that let's say verses will have much less gain on the guitars, and then chorus will crank the gain, and then when you have those two blended, you're like, oh, it makes so much more sense. Because before, like when you don't really learn about these techniques, you're just like gain 100% all the time. Why doesn't it sound good?
That's how you get Meshuggah. But that can work as well. True. You just have to work.
Of course, it depends on the genre. I'm just saying more conventional mixing techniques.
So
what are you guys up to? What's up? How's life?
Oh, well, I have something to say. Yesterday, I finally decided to see what was up with stuff that Tim was actually working on for the album. Then came Hoopapan, the single. Remember, Lost and Found?
Who is this band?
Yes, yeah. We played the song on the podcast.
It's a great band.
Ago.
They have lots of thousands of Spotify plays on Spotify.
That's true. We do.
See, not even a lie.
Go check it out. We won't reveal the secret 10,000, but you can see it for yourself.
What happened?
Trying to stop? You're signaling something. I thought you were signaling.
No, that's just me going crazy.
Okay. And Tim, you made a wonderful little 3D half room for the cover for the single. It's very lovely.
Well,
and you decided you wanted to practice with Blender. And I wanted to know, for any of you guys who are geeks who love software and 3D, how was that experience going through Blender?
I tried Blender like 100 years ago when it was like a nerdy, engineer kind of software, and it was absolutely dreadful to use.
I still have it installed on my computer. I don't use it.
You don't.
It was designed by engineers. Like there's nothing is user friendly, and so if you don't know, like even when I had like basics and like Photoshop and all these kind of graphic programs, I still didn't understand how to use it. Like I didn't know what was going on. But recently, I was reading like how they were doing much more development on it. They got user experience guys, and they're really refining like how to actually use it. So I got it, and I was like, I was surprised actually how easy it was. It reminded me of like Cinema 3D, 4D, what's it called? And another program that I used, and I was like, okay, now it's starting to make sense.
Cool
so I did some tutorials. Cool 3D, classic.
Cool 3D.
It's funny, by the way, I just want to say
that's great because
times,
like
no one knows Cool 3D.
No one knows Cool. Where do we even have Cool 3D from?
I don't know. We got.
I don't know.
Some
Cool
CD
3D was a software program I used to do 3D text for our little movies when we were kids.
Not even text. I think I did like Didn't we do aliens? Didn't you do aliens?
We did an
We did
alien.
spaceships, which were spheres, like one sphere in another sphere.
That's it. That they were just
So
translucent
you're saying
spheres.
now Blender is much more user friendly and
Yes.
it's easier to start creating stuff?
It's like you the interface is a little bit more like common to other things, and you kind of understand it, and it's not just shortcuts.
Because you
and
seem to
stuff.
pick it up pretty quick, to be honest. Like making that cover.
Yeah.
Like, I was impressed because I was thinking at the beginning when you said you're going to start getting to Blender, I was like, sort of like, that seems like it might be a big challenging task. And you did a really great job. So I was really impressed.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. No, like I wanted to ask you that because
Except for that goblin human.
the goblin human. Did we get to see the goblin human that you put on the cover?
No. The sculpting is
No.
hard. Wait, the sculpting is hard. I mean, I
know.
tried.
Well, I mean, can't you transfer it from like something like ZBrush to Blender?
It's not that even like I think the sculpting got pretty good. Like it's almost as good as ZBrush and Blender. It's just that sculpting
I
is
was
hard.
wondering when you told me like,
Sure,
you're
if you-
going to
you
have
know
a
what, it's-
person in the cover, I was thinking that you're going to get like a generic preset human model
Right.
and then sort of modify it. That's what I thought.
To Charlize Theron. Yes.
I was being too ambitious. I was like, I'm gonna sculpt this man.
Goblin territory.
Yeah. So I bring this up because yesterday I just decided, okay, Cinema 4D. I keep hearing about it. Let me try using it. I was looking at a demonstration on this concept artist. His name escapes me, of course, as we all know. If you're fans of this podcast, you know that I just keep forgetting names.
But it's okay because
willy-nilly.
Wikipedia while you talk and you'll get it back.
Okay, well, he's from He's from
Village?
Denmark, I think. So
Nice.
there you go. Danish artist, Cinema 4D.
Sorry, now I ruined you. Wait, do we follow
Cinema
the same
4D.
person? What's this fellow's name?
He does these really crazy science fiction-y looking like
because he
buildings
and he like does all like the dragons. He sculpted dragons as well. So
I don't think he sculpted any dragons.
Okay, sorry.
He just does like
someone else.
architecture, like
3D
science
artist
fiction architecture.
architecture.
They have like loops and stuff like that. I actually met him at IFCC, which is
Really?
this like
You met him?
get together. Yeah, in
That's
Zagreb.
awesome.
He was in Zagreb, and we were talking and stuff like that. And he actually said, he said stuff like, "Your work was really good. Just don't let the other people let you down and stuff like that." That was really nice.
what a
His
nice
name
man.
Tim
What a nice man.
Söderström.
If you're gonna link it to me, I can check and see what it is.
Okay.
And see what he looks like. I mean, what
Probably
his
not.
art looks like anyway. Sorry,
So
the
Phil,
momentum's
you've been
killed.
using
We can edit this.
not cool 4D. You've been using Cinema 4D.
Cinema 4D.
What's the
And,
difference?
and I was watching a
between
video
Blender
of
and
him
Cinema?
demonstrating how he does Cinema 4D.
for all the art and all the animations, and that's what he used to do when he did motion graphics for TV.
Yeah, because I was
Because that-
wondering, to
way.
be honest.
Because that's the one that
How-
comes with After Effects. That's the most compatible with After Effects.
Okay. Because this is like,
I
honestly,
see.
to me, I mean,
It's
obviously,
Leon Tucker. Leon
Leon
Tucker.
Tucker.
Let me see Leon.
From what I know, is like 3D is
Leon.
kind of now a little bit exploding in like.
Well,
the
yeah,
design
like
kind of
you look
world.
at. I don't know if you ever check ArtStation for like just inspiration and stuff like that.
Should get some
Uh,
prints from
website?
my
Not
rooms,
usually.
but it's just naked ladies and dragons.
Right?
Or
It's
na-
just
or
like Naked Ladies and
ladies
Dragons
on
on
dragons.
ArtStation, but that's not the point. The point is that the more I see from ArtStation, the more I see that people are just using 3D materials to make their
couple of
concept
things.
art.
Couple of things. One, hardware got to the hardware and software got to the point where you can render stuff really good on like a laptop. And secondly, the UX user experience of using those tools got really better. I think ZBrush kind of kicked it off of making things more intuitive instead of like, you know, like a programmer looking at things. Like people used to, like back in the day, you would have to like math an object in 3D, right? Instead of approaching it as an artist, you know, of like just going at it. Like you couldn't do that because there were no tools like that. But it shifted from back in the day to now where like anyone who is a graphic person or illustrator or something like that can go and use those tools to quickly get to the end product, which is like the artist's way instead of like a designer's, planned way. So that's probably why.
And there's nothing wrong with that, obviously. It's just that I feel like I'm a little bit, I'm just not doing 3D, and it would be kind of nice because it gives you a little bit of relaxation to not have to worry about perspective and see if everything's aligned, and then you get some lighting that you can just put in and you can do it fast and you can whip up something that looks like it's been taken months to do, but it's just.
I always think, Phil, you could try doing some of the 3D sculpting. You did some dragon.
Oh no, I did that, man. I used Mudbox.
Oh, I thought you used ZBrush.
No, I didn't know how to use ZBrush. I got a trial and I tried.
Brush.
Oh,
really?
The trial
Nice
failed. so I need to look at some tutorials, and I think that would have helped.
It's hard because the things don't behave still to what and things start mushing around and everything, but. Yeah, but it's just a practice, especially once if you get a pen with pressure and stuff like that, it starts to become more easier.
Oh yeah, no, with the pen with the pressure, that's so much easier. Doing it on the mouse is hell.
Oh yeah, no, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it, son.
It ain't worth it, son. So I did that, and I did yesterday. So I spent 4 hours just trying to see if I could get Cinema 4D working, and I kind of got some things done. So I was very happy about that. I made a little Empire, Star Wars thing.
Oh, yeah, the Batman versus Star Wars.
Little Batman thing as well, and they were all the same building because I could only load one object file at a time for some reason. I don't know why.
Nar Shaddaa.
So that's cool. That's what's been going on with me. I did yesterday, and
so Tim, I heard that you and your wife got BIKES.
Yes,
Bicus. Hey, you did it,
yo.
We got some Bicus. There it is. That's my Bicus.
I see it. Too bad no one can see it, but we see it.
Bike looks so slick.
A black stallion.
Black stealth stallion. Yeah. My wife Emma wanted to get a bike since I think everyone wanted to get a bike because all bikes are sold out and they're not making new parts because of COVID-19 from China, so it's a little bit difficult to get bikes.
Didn't know that.
Wow.
That's
and we're like, what are we going to do and stuff? And even this, I took a week off, but everything's booked off because people are not moving away from the country. But you say that you see a lot of Slovakian in Croatia, but all the cabins are booked out. So I don't know where to go. So let's get some bikes.
Many Czechs and Slovaks.
So we'll just get some bikes.
Imagine, that's the world.
Agatha on the back of this thing, and we go biking.
To get bikes.
Yeah.
Biking.
That's awesome.
I mean,
we would love to get bikes.
I was a foolish man before buying bikes. We somehow managed to get pretty good bikes, figure things out, but I learned everything as buying the bike. So now if I would buy a bike, I think I would have chosen differently, but I still like my bike a lot, but now I'm 100% know exactly what I want. But you don't know.
You're the bikeinator.
Did you get brand spanking new bikes? Nice.
Spanking new.
Can you share
so this is a touring bike. So basically you have these touring bikes are between bikes, between road and off-road. And you have different types.
Oh, yeah, like a mountain bike?
Or, but mountain bikes, you have all kinds of mountain bikes. You have, just a trail one or extreme, ones with suspension up front, back, and in the middle as well. Those guys who jump off huge hills. But basically,
the huge jumpers.
So you got a blender.
I got a blender essentially because it's you have these blenders. You have blenders. Essentially, they're for longer roads and you want to just go travel places and you're not sure what kind of road you're gonna have because. And basically, they have different types. Long
and winding.
You have different types of what you're expecting. Some are a little bit more off-roady, some are a little bit more roady, some are more comfortable.
Yeah, because I think the way I always saw it, maybe you can correct me now, is that the reason I would get a mountain bike, the beer, is because I would want to be ready for dirt and gravel and also ready.
Well, that's
so we recommend
that's what they're exactly for because it's an old. You're not really
good.
Going on some crazy trails when you need. But this one's nice because it basically.
But I might be riding in a forest.
Yeah,
Will it be ready for
basically, this one has front suspension, so it will take away, dampen any sort of big bumps.
That's what I like.
It depends. Mine's more touring; it's more road. So the wheels are not. They don't have such a deep, the design on the ridges? on the. So it's a little bit more flatter, but it's got a comfortable seat and depends on. Yeah,
does it have gears?
This had road gear, so it's 3 on the big one and then 8 on the small one. So I think 8 altogether. What is that? 8 times 3, 16.
You mean two gears, left, right.
Left, right, and center.
I don't have disc brakes.
Was growing up,
that was a little bit higher my price. but I got it's like a full.
You just
I
have
don't
the
know the
classic
difference.
Little
rubber
caterpillars.
thing that hits the
No, the caterpillars. I know the caterpillars. There you go.
By the way, interesting story. So, do you know how those caterpillar brakes work on bikes?
No,
For the
no,
longest
tell us,
time,
no.
that's how I thought they worked on cars.
I just like little big caterpillars.
And I was thinking to myself, like, how in the world do these brakes work? That must just totally just
like
destroy it
dust.
within like a session of driving. Yeah, and it wasn't until much later. Like people find out this stuff way earlier, but it was much later when I was like, we were taking our car to get it fixed, and I saw the tires were off, and there's these discs, and they're like, those are the brakes. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that makes way more sense. So the disc is actually being pressed to stop.
So a lot of the
wheel.
bikes, they do disc brakes on bikes instead of the caterpillars. So you basically have a disc in the middle.
Interesting. I didn't know that either. But that's probably
It
premium
used to be
stuff,
super
isn't it?
premium. Now it's like
That's some
you can get mid range.
premium.
Basically, what I wanted because I want to carry Agatha. So the seats, and I want to have like like lights and all the bits because it's going to be a long. I could get for the same price Baron bike without any of the add-ons, right? It's just the bike, wheels, brakes, and speed, and it would have the disc ones for the same price. Or I could get the same kind of. It's like cars, man. Like it's crazy. Like you don't figure like okay. After I bought it, I was like looking at the details. The other ones, which I didn't notice, like, okay, this one has a different handle, and like, what's the feel of the handle? Okay, you have the same gears, but what's the quality of the gears? Okay, where does the wiring go? What is the welding quality? What is the it's like there's like 1,000.
So what
things.
are we talking? In the end,
Crazy.
Are you happy with the price?
We're talking about bicycles, by the way.
Yeah, we're talking about bikes.
Bikes.
If you don't care about bikes, I'm sorry. I didn't care about bikes
too late.
either.
I just wanted to make a
research it.
distinction between motorcycles.
That's true. Bicycles, yeah.
That
This is
true,
not.
yeah.
This is not. We're not there yet. We're not in midlife crisis.
There yet.
Yeah,
Midlife
the
crisis hasn't
motorcycles
kicked in yet,
appearing.
so we're still bicycles. I'm very happy with my pick, but I'm just it's pretty cool. Good price for what it is. I think it would.
I'm thinking I think at this point, like I just think I couldn't dish out like over 100 euros, for instance. That to me is not really that possible. But I mean, if you're probably getting a good bike, I'm guessing the range is probably between like 100 and 200 ish, maybe.
Well, the good bikes. I mean, you go
For like lower.
You go decent bikes from 300 up to 5,000.
Wow.
Well, I know that. That's like for like if you're really shopping.
Like if you want really good
I'm saying
gear
for, like,
and you don't want to go crazy, like super crazy, like 5,000, I think around that 700, 800 will get you a really good bike.
that's a lot.
That's
didn't do
yeah.
that.
That's like, but like you would get all the.
That's more like enthusiast.
Like you would get all the. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like, I think that would make the most sense if like you're really been biking for a while and it's like you really know you want to keep doing that.
I wouldn't jump, yeah, like because if you don't know, like you know me, like you don't know what all the bits are. Like you have to first own a bike to understand what the individual parts do. Then you can choose, what's important to you in a bike.
Yeah. A good friend of ours, I'll tell him to listen to this episode. His name's Caleb. Yeah,
Caleb
he was
winners.
friend of ours from high school.
Friend of us.
We talked movies, we talked photography, art, and stuff like that. Really fun times back in the 2000s. He is now a big biking man. He's doing the sports stuff. You know what I mean? Like the
We should ask
Like
him.
long
he can be a
biking
guest segment.
Yes.
ones,
Explain
the one with
bikes.
the bendy horns.
Yeah,
yes, with the bendy. He's up there with the bendy horns.
the
That's what
goat
he's doing.
horns.
And he's doing this
The
just
horns of the
because he's
bull.
enthusiastic about it. And I would like to hear what he would say if he would listen to this podcast and give us some feedback.
advice he use.
Essentially,
compare
the one
bike
thing I learned
knowledge.
is that when you're buying a bike from like a brand, essentially you're just buying the frame. That's it.
Really?
Everything else is components that are not from the brand, like your
I
brakes,
see.
your gears, your wheels, they just combine these things into one package. And you have these, but essentially you're just getting the frame. So like design wise, you choose, which frame you like or whatever.
Cool.
Nice.
Or build,
Yeah,
because there's
I mean,
like
I
different,
think that
you
maybe-
go from, steel to aluminium all the way to carbon fiber, the super expensive
Carbon
one because they're
fiber.
light,
I think for a first bike, maybe we'll just go like
Yeah, that's a good
see
thing.
how
That's
it
good.
goes.
That's good. That's good.
And then not to go crazy. And if it goes great,
Yeah.
awesome.
I gotta
I'm
if I
into
want to
that.
do it, I need to do it before summer's over. It's just like that's how it
feel it. You don't have that much time.
I know. Can you believe it? 2020 is going by so fast.
It'll be
Lord.
October, and you'll be like, I should have gotten a bike. I guess next summer.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
So I have stories of my own.
We should talk about the movie at some point, though. Why don't we talk about the movie for a little bit, and then we'll catch up with Jake.
Okay. We'll do it at the break.
So the movie we watched.
Let's do it.
Some people tune in for the movie.
Watched. Yes.
Was the Old Guard, and it's basically Charlize Theron is like a leader of some ancient immortal people who throughout the history been like fighting and stuff for good people and bad people, and this is like the gangs getting back together for some mission to save some children. But it's a setup because Dudley wants their DNA so he can make some money, and Mordo from Doctor Strange is helping him. And they're like, oh no. And then there's a marine lady who becomes immortal as well. So she joins them, and then they fight and stuff, and they're sad. And one of them is dying, and then they win, and there will be a sequel.
Then there will be a sequel.
That's actually very true.
Probably. Because 70 million people watched this.
Let's real quick. Yeah. So how many people watched this? There's a lot of people that watched this. That's what I heard. That's one of the things that I heard about that this movie.
Really?
The Old Guard has gotten record-breaking
what are you guys
views on
Let me
on
check
Netflix.
it out.
Was this movie supposed to be in theaters otherwise?
I don't think so. I think this might have been like a Netflix thing. Let's see.
I'm pretty sure it's a Netflix
because
thing.
it feels like a Netflix thing.
It smells of a Netflix thing.
It does look like a Netflix thing. There's a couple of things I wanted. I know you're going to hate this, Jacob,
I was going to say.
There's some movie talk. 72 million households have watched this in the first week.
72 million. That's 72 million tickets times 7.
About that the statistics
is how much? Like 700?
700 million, you mean?
So that would be the equivalent of like 700 million in the box office, essentially.
Yes. That's great. That's good, actually. Wow, that's a lot.
I mean, it's probably 500. Let's be real.
Now, listen, what's great about these Netflix numbers, though, and in internet streaming is that you get accurate numbers as opposed to that crap Nielsen rating system.
The Nielsen rating system.
You mean the TV stuff with the people who click things, yeah.
That's right, yeah, who are like, we're part of the sample group of 2,000 people who represent 300 million Americans.
Yeah.
And we'll just figure it out. And it's like, viewers, 2 million. It's like, no, there's not 2 million viewers. There's like 100 million viewers.
It's like advertising. Back in the day, you put out an ad and you have no idea if it worked or not, or if they're coming. Now if you have a banner, somebody clicks on it.
It's crazy.
If they. Yeah.
So you guys just. So you're saying record-breaking numbers in all of Netflix.
I don't know if it's all Netflix. I don't have a lot of information here. Maybe some Adam Sandler movie might.
I'm not a Netflixman.
Could be. Or at least Netflix production.
But it's still pretty big. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Skydance produced this movie.
Guys, can you tell me, since I am uninformed, when did this come out?
Now.
Very recently?
Yeah, now. This is it. Now.
Like
now.
Dude, we are on top of
things. We're on top of things.
Twofold.
That's what
I
was like, what are we going to watch? And I was like, this came out. Okay, we watch this.
Great.
This is the
great.
process.
Welcome, new listeners.
This is great.
We're hot. We're fresh.
We're hip.
Twofold.
So this is based on a comic book?
Yeah, I noticed that at the end of the movie when the credits were playing, because I watch the credits. When I'm on Netflix, I disabled the up next. I just watch the credits like a good boy.
A good boy.
And I see, and I look and see all the people who worked on the movie.
The people worked on it. Jacob, you were started like a long time ago. We're talking about the movie, and you wanted to say a story about watching this. We're talking about that Phil knows fantasy, and we want to know your journey, Jacob, throughout this movie.
My journey was that I was like, as soon as you linked it, I was like, all right, I'm guessing we're going Triple Frontier again.
Yeah.
I was thinking Extraction.
Oh wait, Extraction maybe more. It's the same.
Yes, because both of them are based on comics. When I finished watching it,
those movies just blend in my mind now.
They start blending, man.
Yeah, they are starting.
Extraction.
Yes,
I can smell the extraction fumes, and I'm like, fine, like, okay, yeah, I'll do this, and I start watching the film. And by the way, before I started the movie, I read the little blurb, those amazing Netflix blurbs. Which, by the way, if you ever listen to The Matrix Minute, our other podcast, we discovered the most magical blurb for The Matrix the Netflix team wrote. Where I wish Phil could pull it up and he could read it to us. It's ridiculous.
He's about to blow this sky high.
Get it up. But anyway, I read the little Netflix blurb for this movie, and it says something like a group of immortals, something.
Oh, so you knew?
No. But listen, and I thought to myself, oh yeah, like immortals, like the word they use, like the immortals in 300, right?
Yes.
No one can kill them because they're so good. And I was like, yeah, whatever, And I'm watching the movie, and the opening sequence, or one of the opening sequence where they get killed and then they start to come back to life. I'm like, yes. I'm like immortals. I'm like, they're actually immortals. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of interesting. I was thinking like, and before they got killed, I was thinking to myself, because there was a speech at the beginning by Charlize Theron. She was like, how many times and things like that. I was thinking, maybe it's going to be like, Eat, repeat, die.
Oh,
get up.
like
what's that movie called?
Like, what
live,
eat, repeat, die. What was it?
Live, love, eat, repeat.
No,
mate, kill, feed. What?
No, the movie with Tom Hanks and
just Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Just
Tom Cruise.
Just call it by its original.
Tom Cruise.
Edge of Tomorrow was the original title.
That's the American
which was based on a manga, by the way, called "All You Need Is Kill." Which
that's what I'm talking about.
That's nice.
That's a good title, right?
And that's why I mixed it up with this, Eat, Pray, Love.
No, but they do have an alternative title,
Eat, Pray,
which was
Love.
Eat, Feed, and Love.
Okay, who title for what movie?
They changed the title. It was Edge of Tomorrow, and then they changed it to whatever. The Kill, Repeat,
Live, Die, Repeat, or something.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that was the promo stuff. Maybe.
Yeah. The little tags.
And so before they got shot and they came, I was thinking maybe it could be like that, like Edge of Tomorrow. Even though I haven't seen that movie, but concept.
I want to see it, but
you guys haven't seen Edge of Tomorrow?
No,
I still
we should
haven't
watch
seen
it as a special.
It's a good. Yeah, we should special it up. It's a good watch.
It's a good. It's with Tim's muse, Emily Blunt.
When they came up and they survived, I was like, okay, this could be an interesting watch. I'm intrigued now because I wonder how are they going to do this, and is this going to be movie that will draw you in based on the plot, because now they have a chance to do a classic plot mechanism thing idea.
They do,
and to see what they do with it. And I was like, all right, and I watched the movie, and it was much more intriguing because after that happened. So that's my journey into the
for me it was I thought it was like a live, love, eat beginning, right? Eat, pray, love, die, repeat, whatever. And I just kept going through the motions, waiting until that happened. And of course, when the thing happened and they got shot and then they got back to life, I was like, ooh, it's a bit cheesy. It's a bit cheesy.
Well, yes, it was cheesy. I agree too.
But then when they finished and they killed the bad guys, and then they were like, we got set up, and it's like, okay, now you have an opportunity to see what it's like to be an immortal person and how they're going to play with it, because there's many different, because like, I don't know if you know this, but for me, immortality, the concept, has been quite fascinating in like movies and to be able to present it. Because I sometimes think about a lot of like, what is it like to have lived so long and have so much in your head, and how would you react? Particularly because there is this episode, Jacob, I think we watched this together a long time ago, of The Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone, that's right.
Where there's this guy who we find out he's lived forever, and he's just so weird. He's fed up with everything, and it takes place in a room and just two people talking, and it was really good. And
but wait,
just the psychology behind how someone would like live with this, like just living forever.
Because it hasn't happened before, It's you can look at it sort of
theoretically,
in fiction. Yeah, or like you can look at it in fiction and just sort of like, what message does it bring? Usually it's the, you don't want to live forever because then you see your loved ones die, right?
Sure.
And then you can also think about like the mechanics of it, like a nerdy discussion, which in this movie, the movie, like the immortality is like, if you get shot or something like that, like you kind of put yourself back together. So I'm just wondering why no one ever nuked them and see if the quarks.
Tim, there's an interesting. Did you guys?
Isn't it because no one knows?
I mean, but it's fiction. You can make it whatever you want. It's not real. You know what I mean? Like, so.
I know,
but I'm just. There was Did you guys ever watch the David Tennant Doctor Who?
Yes,
some of them is.
No.
Tim, you have, I think.
Tennant. I saw all of Tennant once.
You saw all the Tenet.
Yes, that's my
do you
favorite.
Tenet's coming soon to cinemas.
Tenet, yeah, that's my favorite Doctor. I'm not out of the Matt Smith stuff. That's
I like them both, I think. But anyway, I wanted to say that there was a character in the Tenet years named Jack. Do you remember him? I forgot his last name, but his name was Jack, and he lived forever. And he was in the Doctor Who universe, and he was part of the good crew, and he would always help them.
Oh yeah.
And of course, the asset was that
Healy man.
He could never die.
Yeah,
Healy man, and he was basically indestructible. And they ran with also this idea, and they actually did a pretty good job of that. And they explored it further in more detail in a spin-off show called Torchwood.
Yes. Yeah, it was like him and a bunch of
it was like a more serious, darker Doctor Who universe where it's the depravity of what's happening in the world, and
right.
They explored that more, and it was actually pretty fascinating because it was the same thing.
Yeah,
people will know who have watched Torchwood.
So what did you guys think of because when it Phil wants to say something, say it, Phil.
I have the Netflix.
Okay, give us
blurb.
Give us blurb
for Matrix, right?
Yeah, Matrix.
Yes, it was a simple life. Then he woke up. Now this hacker turned savior is about to blow the dream sky high.
Perfect.
I mean, don't tell me someone wrote that for fun over there.
Don't tell me.
I know, right?
Don't tell me the person ever watched The Matrix, because I would believe you.
He's about to blow the dream sky high.
I love the ambiguity. So here's the thing.
The old guard.
Same thing like you guys. It was smelling of extinction, like or whatever it's
Extraction.
It was like, because I didn't read the blurb.
The dinosaur said, "I smell the fumes of extinction."
I didn't see the. Yeah, it's like a dinosaur action movie. He comes. Yeah. I smell something. I smell the fumes of extinction. He pulls out 2 Uzi and just shooting velociraptors. So it was smelling of extraction, because I didn't read the fantasy thing, and then nor did it, so I had no idea. I was like, I just picked it, like I said, and then it was started, and I was like, oh god.
Were you intrigued by the swords? They had swords. Remember that?
They had swords, but I thought it might have been like a ritual thing. Like I had really no idea. I was just like, oh god, it's gonna be boring.
I thought it was gonna be Aeon Flux.
It's gonna be a boring. Serious but shallow action movie, which is just so sick of him. I can't handle it anymore. With
I know.
Me too.
It's like nothing is told visually or emotionally. Everything is either dialogue or
we sit in tables,
or it's shot
sit around a table,
or it's shot like porn. Yes. It's like everything you need to see is visible there. Like a person is healing, just a close up of the face healing, and it's just like, come on, just do something, please. I can't handle this anymore. So, but I was pleasantly surprised it was fantasy. So I was like, oh, this isn't a shallow but serious action movie of Netflix that could be a TV show. It's fantasy with some cool ideas, but in the end, it was just a shallow, serious movie
in the end,
with some
it was
good ideas, but
it was
ultimately didn't go nowhere. I mean, there's some weird, like maybe the comic book is good. I don't know, because there's some cool ideas.
I don't know.
Like, remember the lady who was 500 years underwater in the
that was pretty,
drowning, and like that was a cool idea. Like that was something that visually and like it. I don't know. It went somewhere. Like it wasn't.
It made you be like, oh man. It makes you think.
Makes you think, and it
X-Men better make you think.
And create some kind of tension and create some kind of interesting dynamic and things like those. That's like straight out of Hellboy reminded me that the lady being underwater. That's such a Hellboy tone to me. And I was looking at the comic, the art, and it was very Hellboy like, kind of like very contrasty.
Really,
as opposed to this movie, like it's just TV. Like,
because it said fantasy. I already started thinking ahead of the movie a little bit. Like, oh, what is this? They have swords. Okay, what is the swords? There's something about fantasy. Are they going to like a portal? And I thought maybe they're elves. Are they elves? Maybe
I had a lot of ideas.
It's just like thinking ahead while the movie's happening.
So I agree though with you, Tim, more or less. But I think that this movie there was like moments in the movie where like it's pretty interesting, or not interesting is a horrible word. I need to stop saying that. It's like you watch the scene,
compelling or something. Yeah,
compelling. You're like, they did this scene well, maybe, or a portion of the scene, and then it just goes all over the place in terms of other things, and you just kind of you go from like a little hill of a high note, just like down to the fumes,
plodding,
the fumes of Netflix.
Plodding. And I think that's like
the fumes of Netflix.
The saddest to me, like I can't enjoy a movie if I see good ideas. If it's all just bad, you can enjoy it for the badness. But if you see some good ideas that if maybe were more developed or somebody looked at it from a concept point of view, like, okay, what can we do? What kind of, like, I know they went for her, like Charlize Theron is like all sad and stuff. She looks like she doesn't want to be in this movie, but that may be because she doesn't want to be in this life. So she was channeling that.
Yeah.
Like you get it, but you're not really feeling it. Like I don't know. Like it's like action movies. Like
does it feel like it's because you kind of know the motions they'll go through in the movies, so you've seen it already. I mean,
so the emotions you've seen them all already. It's just the situations that are different. You know, like the emotion. Like the thing is like. It's just so...
I meant she's going through the motions as in, like, you know the beats, you know, the movie beats of a character like that in an action movie like this.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if she's immortal, if she's like... If this character is just, you know, like the guy who's, like, fed up with life and is like, this is my last mission, you know.
Immortal sucks. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
What is the point?
And then you kind of feel like... Yeah, and you know that kind of character already, so that's kind of how I felt about it, like, slightly.
But like a long time ago, like nobody took these kind of action movies serious, so they were kind of tongue in cheek, which I think is a little bit missing. Like it's too serious to me. I think. You know,
right.
like it's like the issue with like the Superman movies that came out. It's just some concept you can't. You can't approach it like some kind of Auschwitz drama. You know what I mean? There he is, Superman. It's just
I'm wearing a Superman t-shirt.
It's a fictional concept. You have to kind of not take yourself seriously a bit. There's a pilot, so you have to, like not make fun of yourself a little bit, but it just
give the audience a wink.
And I'm not talking about like Marvel, quips and everything.
No.
It's just your concepts and everything, just and it doesn't have to be meta. I don't know like what's the approach, but sometimes it's just these movies are just like trying to be too serious about these things. I just don't understand. Like I can't emotionally connect to it at all. It just seems superficial. Like there's not enough depth.
Yes,
not enough depth.
Yeah, like the lady under the water drowning. That was depth a bit. Like you could emotionally connect to that.
Right.
Yeah, or that like the idea they had where they were.
What's his name, Booker, talking about like, oh, you lose everybody, you become detached. Well, he doesn't say
that's
that.
Such a trope already.
Exactly, that was the trope.
I know it's a trope, but I was thinking you don't have to make it a trope. I was just thinking in a way where you can play with that, and I was hoping that maybe this raises some kind of questions, because I like talking about people who probably lived way too long and what goes on in their head after that.
Philip talking to a 100-year-old woman. You've lived too long, haven't you? You would like to die now. Yes, kill me.
Well, no,
tell me what's going on in your mind.
Well, it's just that like this is something that you can play with, and you can start thinking in that perspective. Like if you really are losing so many people, what does it do to your psyche? What does it make you do?
Yeah,
what does it make you do? That didn't go. They didn't do that, but I'm just those things. Just
a bit. They did with the traitor man. I think that was pretty good. That he was like, it wasn't like, it was for money or something. It was just like, I thought you wanted to die, so I wanted to help you, like to Andy. Like it was. Well, that was interesting approach of
Andy.
Yeah, Andy. Well, just to add to what you're saying, Phil, is that they did also start some things that could have been taken further. Conceptually, like when they had that idea that you lose your powers after a certain time, that was something that was cool. I didn't expect that. And then,
did you expect her to die? Did you expect Annie to die?
Yeah, that was. I thought that's the trope goes there.
Me too.
She dies, and the new lady.
Yeah, the trope goes there.
Is the leader?
I thought she lives.
She does, but
good.
We thought.
Well, that's good.
We thought
she does, but we thought that she was gonna die because, like,
yeah.
If you're introducing it and she's gonna die, she like stops healing.
So
now.
the ideas then they could have also explored more was like this idea of like meaning, and if you keep doing things forever, on a repeat, does that affect your morality and things like that? Which would have been an interesting also concept.
Because in the Twilight Zone episode, it affected that guy's morality a lot.
Yeah,
he felt like he was above everybody else, and for him nothing mattered.
Yeah, so that's a very good concept to explore. And then also this idea that, you could stop having that power anytime. So then how is that going to affect your immortality and how you live in that sense? Also something cool they could have done. But listen to this, interesting, guys. You'll be surprised at this. At the end, when the movie was finished, right? I was like, oh, there'll be a sequel. I'll probably watch the sequel.
Oh, yeah?
The lady from the underwater comes up.
Because I thought that it was something, where they're like already had these plans where it's like, the crew, I thought they're going to do this. That guy who betrayed them, he's like, they're still picking if they're going to, keep me or not. And I was thinking like, yeah, they're going to keep him. They're going to hug it out at the end. They'll be like,
the crew's back friends, together. Baklava unites us all.
Oh, yeah, baklava.
And they're like, no, it's like, you'll come back here in 100 years. I was like, oh, well, they're taking this seriously.
Yeah,
I was like, okay.
So what do you guys think of like the whole immortality thing? Because immortality doesn't exist. Obviously, no one really lived more than 100 years, without losing their mind and not remembering things.
Right.
And one thing is that I think people talk about people being tired and don't want to live, but a lot of they experience too much. But I think they don't take into account the fatigue of your body, decomposing in your mind. I think maybe if you're an elf or a vampire or whatever it is, the immortal, and if you keep your, young mind, sanity in your young mind still, would that be this case? Would that affect, would you still be tired of life?
I think the big question is, I just want to say the big question is, the definition of like the human experience, because, all we know as the human experience is this timeline, which is intertwined with the degradation of the body over time, right?
That's our reality. We don't know anything else.
That's the arc, of a human life and how you experience life, and all of human perception is based in that. So I think that the real question then is, what would the human experience look like if that were different? Like if you lived for 500 years, what would the arc look like? Because when you look at a life, there's certain checkpoints and certain things that happen. For a lot of people, we all experience very similar things, and that defines pretty much your experience and everyone's experience. So I guess that, that would have to be different. That would have to be different. And I guess the big question is, I think...
Is it relatable in the movie?
I don't think it's the audience.
Would you lose meaning over time in the sense of like, would the most recent things be important to you, or would things all the way at the beginning of your lifetime be important? Would you forget all that stuff in the middle? It also depends on what kind of memory you have. If you have an amazing memory, and again, that arc I think is kind of gone. And what is the arc? So I don't know.
The question is like, so if you live 100 years, like you said, there's a specific arc, right? Mm-hmm. And then, and you also, as a person, well, most people, you kind of learn and you grow throughout your life. Yeah, you get tired, so you can't really apply, some of the things you learn in your 40s, you wish you knew in your 20s, right? When you had more energy and more will, right? And I'm just wondering if, let's say you live 100 years, there's a certain arc that you go through. If we stretched it to 500 years, would it just, the arc stretch over 500 years?
Would the arc just stretch?
It wouldn't be the 20s, it would be the 200s. Yeah, the 200s, And it would be just
so much time.
It depends. If it was everyone humans, I think it would be the exact same. But if it was...
That's what I'm wondering. If it's everyone, that's going to change the picture.
Yeah, a few humans, and then you get to kind of experience. I think it would be beneficial, because I think, from my own experience, as I'm learning to be kind of a better human, I think if you had even more time to learn about things...
True.
And learn, not like learn about science and learn about things, that you need a lifetime for, but also learn about yourself, as who you are as a person and how life works. I think you'd be like a very important and interesting asset and sort of like, humanity, If you were the one person who lives 500 years, I think you would be pretty wise.
You'd be pretty wise, yeah. I think the also weird thing would be is how we perceive accomplishments, because accomplishments now, we tend to perceive, I think, in that arc, for instance, you look at someone who has accomplished something in their career, you might say 30 years. It's a very short time if you think about it, right? Or even 40 years. And then when someone accomplishes amazing things in those 30, 40 years, that stands out and you go, wow, that's like this person just did so much, you know? So I wonder how it would be perceived.
He's 500.
Yeah. I want to say, how would that be perceived? It's like someone is 500. I mean, if you think about it, and I think naturally,
Cheating bastard.
not only that, but you could change sort of directions in life because you could. I mean, if you wanted to. For instance, let's say if you're an amazing musician and that was your career for 60 years or 100 years, you're like, I love doing music, but I have 400 years left. You know, like,
done with
but you know, listen, this is also an interesting topic because, like, if you look at, let's say, sometimes bands, right, who are older, who have been around, when they have like 20 records, right, a lot of those records you just don't listen to, or you're like, that's, you know, it's like the more records you have, the less important they are because they're not so, you know, seminal. But then you look at a band that has 2 records, like those are the records, like, whoa. And if they're brilliant records, they're amazing. So I wonder how that concept would look like if you live for 500 years and someone's a writer that have 1,000 books. And now it's like, whoa, like, where do I start with this guy's 1,000-book collection compared to a lifetime we have now of a 20-book collection? So that's an interesting thing to think about.
But would you get... Like the question is, but maybe you would give up at a, like writing. Maybe there's like a limit to your interests of like writing, and then you're I'm doing drums now.
Oh yeah, like
maybe
switch.
We'd have
more
like Renaissance people. Maybe, you know, you'd have people just doing different things, which is interesting. It's not a bad thing. But then
my first marriage, when my wife died when she was 100, I decided I'm going to be gay next time.
Correct. Yeah. For instance,
why not?
And I tried that, and it was great. You know, and I met a great man, and he was beautiful. Yeah. And then 100 years later, unfortunately, he died, and I decided to be single. You know, for the next 200. And 400. And I was a writer, and I lived in the top of the hill writing books.
It's Groundhog Day.
But I
wonder how that would look like.
Yeah, for this movie case, there's 2 immortalities. One we're talking about is basically when you're healthy for a long time, but you can still die. So I think you still would have mortality in your head. But these guys you can't die no matter what happens. You can't
age and you can't die.
Yeah, like if in our first case, like if you get bored after 300 years, you can commit suicide, you know, and you're done.
Oh, right.
You're like, I'm not gonna do 500 years.
These guys style.
Yeah, these guys can't do suicide if they shoot themselves.
True.
Like maybe in this universe, we talked about if you nuke yourself, maybe like the protons would evaporate. Maybe that will take care of you. But other than that, like you shoot yourself, and I think that might make him depressed. I think that might be the right emotion of like knowing that you can't die, knowing that there's not an escape. So if things go back
to the philosophical thing, is like, you know, that time, in a sense, brings some meaning to life, you know, because things are finite, it makes them more important.
Yeah.
Whereas if they're not, I don't know. That's just something that's.
If you would have to choose between the 2 immortalities, which one would you choose? They can't die,
or they can't die.
So basically, you're like an elf, which means you can be killed, but you just have a really long, like, youth, right?
I do that
and
health. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
The elf style, for sure.
But then,
the Highlander.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the other one because it's like, because that one, okay, you live 500 years and you get to beat Renaissance man, you get to experience life, which is nice, right? But you still have the mortality to be a more normal human. You do sacrifice that, but technically you could live, you know, until like the sun scorches the earth and you're just like the last person sitting on a rock.
Like, and also, I think you lose a big sort of point of reference in the sense of like, well, that's also what's interesting though. Like, for instance, if you take this character from the movie, Andy, you know, we have flashbacks of her being, you know, Xena, warrior princess.
Oh yeah,
like this weird. Like, what was the hat? What was the hat? Philip, explain the hat.
I would like to know.
I don't know what the hat's all about.
It's such a low budget thing. It's some forest, and it's just so like
bad. It's like fighting in the backyard.
It's like a forest. They just do close-ups. They do close-ups. They don't show
Xena fighting. That was really bad.
That was bad.
Like it's just. And there's ways to handle those.
And I wanted to say that, for instance, she essentially is, when you think of like fashion and what she wears and how she adapts to the world, basically, you know, she's had to adapt to every single time period, and there is no like reasoning behind it. It's just that's what you do, you know. So I think you lose like your point of reference, or you could lose your point of reference with just completely just going with emotions, with whatever you have to, which again is an interesting topic too, because maybe that's a good thing. I don't know.
Well, one thing is, we learned with time is basically, so the more time you have reference, the time moves quicker. Like, when you're 1 year old,
I hate that. So
you only lived a year, so a year seems very short. Remember, like what we talked about, like in elementary school, the summer was like eternity.
Like novelties.
Man, summer lasted so long.
So
now summer
is like novelties make things. You remember things better because they were new, and the more you repeat actions or are familiar with things, time moves quicker because nothing is interesting to you because it's not new. It's not a new experience.
Yeah.
So your brain's just like, it's the same.
Yeah.
It archives that, move on.
So does that mean like 100 years when you're like 500 is just like...
That's what I'm also saying, like if we're talking about the arc version of like 500-600 years, if the question is, are those then just extended, or if when you're 500, you're just like speed of light, nothing is interesting, and you're so bored of everything.
And this lady, Andy, has got like a Greek name, so let's assume she was from the old Greek lands, from the Age of Heroes, so let's say 3,000 years old.
The Age of Heroes, there was a golden age of powerful gods and extraordinary
So if you're 3,000 years old, how do you keep track of like what day is it? It's like, you know what I mean? Like she would be so absent-minded and be
wondering, because remember what
let's go somewhere. Oh, we're already here?
Yeah.
Well, in the movie, remember, she said like, remember, it's like Sao Paulo, 1834 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, whoa, how do you remember these things? Like you must have like a million dates that you like the battle of.
Well, I mean, I justified it by
recent.
I know, I just justified it by that it was like an important date.
Well, I know, but I'm saying that she might remember the important dates. Like she might remember something from 1292 that was like great.
There's a line in the movie where it says, there are armies that don't have enough ways of kill someone as much as she has forgotten how to kill someone. Like
I didn't get that line here. Were they saying that she knows many ways, or she forgot many ways?
Yes, she knows so many ways that knows so many ways that the ones she forgot is the amount of some army knows how to kill someone, which is obviously just a cool line. Technically, that doesn't make any sense. But I mean, how many ways you can kill a person?
Well, listen,
you
my
can
last
stab
point
him, shoot him, drown him,
living long is also the fact that I was thinking about while watching this movie is I've learned that, for instance, in general in life, even if you learn skills, that doesn't not a guarantee that you will keep up with those skills. You always have to be proactive in working at your skills in order to be, the best at that skill. Yeah. And so I'm wondering that
what if you,
doesn't guarantee
you were born in England?
Could be a weed
you look
smoker.
long enough to forget.
I'm saying you could be a weed smoker for 600 years and forget everything and just like, what I'm talking about? Like I'm saying, that's very likely. It doesn't guarantee anything. Old age it's not automatic. You don't automatically become wise.
Yeah, and then you start forgetting languages.
So that's like forgetting everything and dates.
So after 250 years, you're like, I know everything.
I was thinking they would all have different weird accents too.
Oh, that's true. Well, they do a bit. Like the gay couple, they're like what, Turkish? I would say. I think they were Turkish.
What do you want to say, Tim?
The sexy Vladimir Putin.
I would.
He sounded Slavic.
Sexy Vladimir Putin.
Vlad Putin.
I feel like it would be like a mush of different accents.
Oh, that's true.
Never mind.
She didn't have an accent, which was weird.
The accents, I think they worked on those skills, their accent skills. They have a lot of time to
And this movie is like Highlander. This movie is like The Matrix. This movie is
and I don't know if because and it also is like we talked about, like it's so much dialogue exposition. And the thing is, in comic books, you can get away with that because it doesn't seem as cheesy because you're reading it at your own pace, and cheesiness and like awkwardness comes from like timing. So if you like read a cheesy line in a comic, it's not as cheesy as somebody saying it like a real human.
In the movie.
So half of this movie is just like, I was like, come on, just stop telling us, just show us, please. It's like everything has to be explained. It's just ridiculous. And then the pop music. What is this? Scooby Doo?
The music.
Thank you for reminding me. I wanted to mention
I'm a warrior.
And it's like
there's one point where she listens to
people in the head, and it's like, I'm a warrior.
I don't understand where this trend is coming from. Like when she's like freaking out and she puts up Frank Ocean on the headphones, great. I was like, that's a good choice. This is pretty good. And then they're fighting, and it's like I understand the juxtaposition. Like in anime when they do that, like it's like they're fighting and it's like this piano song and it's like somebody singing "Hey Ramisha Karamaka." It feels like there's the different styles of fighting and this melodramatic singing and like a song like this chorus. You think it kind of works,
but
pop song, like the beat hip hop kind of really cheesy pop
Beats
song
me,
with
man.
the fighting. I don't know where's this coming from. Like I remember, like when Matrix came out, everyone switched to like fast, break beats, shooting. But that worked. I would think, right?
Yeah. Well, I think.
But not like
This is the only thing that I know, because like I think I get more annoyed by stuff like this than Tim or Jake probably does. So like I notice it, I remember it a little bit more. But do you know that like, remember when TV shows just had these, all their main titles were like songs with singing in it?
TV shows do that, man. Dude.
And then I remember it moving into video games too. So it's like starts like I think. There was this video game called Resident Evil Chronicles, and it started like a TV show because they made it look like a TV show, and it had the same thing, and it had like that. And then it went into movie trailers.
But that's the done. Like they do a slow version of like a pop song, like.
Sure.
Can you be lost and found?
But
and
I think that
and there's a piano and it goes boom, 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 boom. And the thing is, it's not even the fact that they're using pop song. Like it's fine. It doesn't have to be,
of course,
score. It's just that the style of music is just.
I'm a warrior.
It's not even famous songs. It's just like
I'm a warrior.
What is this? What are these songs? Like no one cares about. It's just it's not adding into it. That was just weird. Yeah.
It makes no sense.
And of course,
so how do you pronounce Chiwetel Ejiofor?
What is that?
Is that how you say it?
What?
Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Who would tell what?
I said it right.
Are you someone's
Chiwetel Ejiofor. He's the actor who played Morgolo from
Oh, I don't know how to pronounce his name exactly.
Dr. Zhivago.
Dr. Zhivago. Mordo.
Doctor Strange. Mordo.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
No more wizards or whatever he said. Sorcerers.
I first time I saw him, he was in Children of Men. We should rewatch. Oh, we should do
That's a good special.
Children of Men
Tim month.
episode.
We should do Tim month. We watch Sicario.
Yeah, we need to do like the month of Tim or something like that. Sicario and Children of Men.
Ooh.
I think that'd be fun because we really I think every other podcast doing movies has the same problem.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
There's no new movies.
You guys want to do?
It's just so sad.
You guys want to do August Tim? Tim August?
August Tim.
Sure.
Augustus Tim.
Yeah, let's do it.
Like
August
2
Tim.
eps or what? Or just like how many eps?
2 episodes of
like
Tim's
a special.
Choice.
Like we can do like
I don't know.
Like
And
How
we
many
can do
movies can
Semper
you handle?
Fill.
You tell me how many movies you can handle, and I'll pick movies.
for August?
I don't know.
2, 3.
Okay.
Phil's like,
just-
I can handle 10.
No, it can be August Tim.
we already
and
watched
Semper Fill.
We already
You
watched
see?
Heat. We did that.
You get it?
Do
you get
like
it?
Sicario. We can watch The Lighthouse.
And then Octo Jake.
You guys watched Children of Men, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we don't
I
have
only
to watch
saw
that
it a
again.
long time ago.
We can do something else.
But I
that
can have a
might be
look
cool.
at the.
A long, long time ago.
Yeah, I think that when we're doing the last decade, I think there's a couple of movies that I was surprised that you guys haven't seen, like Arrival and stuff. I think those you might.
Oh yeah, Rival.
You might enjoy those.
The Aliens.
Alien.
Aliens.
I'll be your alien.
So what do you guys think about this movie? At the end of the day,
High concept, raises some
TV
good
show, man.
concept ideas. Charlize Theron is cool and very.
Charlize Theron.
She's a presence. She's a presence in the.
She's been doing a lot of
I think
these
that was nice.
action types. Let me see.
Yeah.
see,
What's your favorite Charlize Theron movie?
well, I remember
Don't say
seeing
Italian
her a long
Job.
time ago.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
We never watched that, but I remember we used to always
kidding, I
see the
don't know.
VHS of that lying around.
What did you
our
say?
house.
Don't say what? Tim?
Italian Job.
But no, but guys, wasn't she? What was her role? Like that? I remember like 10 years ago. That's where I heard her.
What, Monster? That was 17 years ago.
Yeah.
It was an
10 years ago was Young Adult. That was pretty fun.
It was an action.
Young Adult. That was an action. Oh, she was in
Wasn't she-
Atomic Blonde. Oh, she's in Mad Max. That was like a big.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, we need
Furiosa.
to watch that. That can be in Tim month.
I watched it. It was great.
that's such a good movie. She was
good
Aeon
movie.
Flux. Remember that?
That's so
Yeah,
sad.
yeah,
See,
yeah,
that's why I
yeah.
thought this movie was going to be Anne Flux.
I think that was her first action.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think that's where she was from. Like the action.
Where it started.
My My favorite Charlize Theron moment was when Charlton Copley, do you remember who that is?
Yes.
Played Vicus, and he became
sketch,
Vicus
right?
again for like a little video. Yeah, a little sketch.
Yeah.
Where he goes to Beverly Hills and he's trying to talk to Charlize Theron. Hello, is this Charlize Theron?
That's how you pronounce her
We're
name.
both from South Africa.
She started in 1995 movie. Huh. Wow. She was in Mighty Joe Young.
Oh no, really?
Holy mother
That
of
was a
Jeebus.
strange
Yes.
film.
Bill Paxton is in that too.
That was like a Disney movie, right?
Oh,
Yes.
see, I'm mixing up.
I have the music.
I always mix up Mighty Joe Young with that other film
Yeah.
with the actor who plays Cypher.
What, Joe
Congo.
Pants?
Congo.
Joey Pants, yeah.
Seen the totally different films.
I never seen the Mighty Joe Young. I just seen a commercial for it because it was one of the like Disney, maybe like Tarzan or something like that. I had Tarzan VHS and it was like a commercial for it, and I've seen the commercial like 1,000 times.
Sure.
But never seen the movie though.
I saw the movie once, but
She
I
was
saw
a
it so
devil's
long ago
advocate?
that I remember nothing. But I know that I saw it.
Dude,
Isn't that strange?
it's so funny. You see like you see these movies like when you're a child, then you realize like a big star. Yeah, Aeon Flux. I think I watched that, but that was weird. She has the same haircut as an Aeon Flux.
Similar.
Maybe that's what they
I think
picked for
Aeon
this
Flux is
movie.
a bit longer though.
Yeah. Well, no, I think, look, Charlize Theron, I knew from the beginning when she
How
was
does she
in the
look
movie.
exactly the same
Guys,
in 2005? as in
I have my
2020?
producer
My
knows
question.
is very active now. I noticed that if Charlize Theron was in this movie and she was like the main character and stuff like that, I was like, did she co-produce this movie? Sniff, sniff.
Did she?
And I look at the end, co-produced by Charlize Theron.
There you go.
Hey, man,
Also,
it never fails. I
Prometheus
know.
is
I
where
just
remember
know.
her
You know.
from.
You know what? If this was the olden ways, we would be watching Aeon Flux right now. To accompany this
Oh
movie.
yeah.
Oh, we would, wouldn't we?
We would.
It's good that we didn't.
Why not? I want to see Aeon Flux again.
I don't want to see the woman with her
I remember this movie.
I want to see
hands for feet.
I want to see how trends of action, because this was probably post Matrix.
Yeah, that's the only thing I remember about Aeon Flux. That's the only thing I remember is that there's like this lady with hands for feet, and she was like doing
hands for feet.
stunts and
right.
shooting.
Man,
And I'm serious.
Do you know what's funny, Phil? Looking
Okay.
at these screenshots, is that this movie?
That's all I know.
not look-
Are you
It sounds
looking
like
at
a
it, Tim?
No, yeah. This sounds like a shop. Hands for feet. Exchange your hands for feet.
No, I want to say that looking at the screenshots, it's like, man, this movie does not look as good as I remember. Because we rented it, and we wanted to see like what it's about, and it was like not very good.
What is
but-
this Charlize Theron movie about? You know,
So, guys, I have this idea.
Yeah.
Sorry, go.
no, I just want to say, so we wrap up the Aeon Flux thing,
Yeah.
is I would, what a reason why I would choose it to watch it with this is I would really want to see what the trends of action movies would be,
Right.
because that was post Matrix and this is post, the Raid. Everyone's like close combat shooting each other, like in John Wick again.
Oh, yeah. Doing the gun fu.
So I would want to see like what's the difference
For
between.
sure.
I might watch it by myself.
You should. And you can give us like a recap. And tell us what
Just
has
give
changed.
us a little recap.
So Phil, what did you want to say?
Yeah, so I have this idea. I would love to do like a TV show idea where we just follow this one guy who's immortal throughout history. And it'd be great. It'd be so many
Would it be
seasons,
like a-
different
like a
eras.
comedy or no?
It's no,
Oh, okay.
no.
No, it'll be
A dramedy.
Because we've been watching a lot of The Office,
Andromedy.
so I was just imagining like Office style, following this guy.
Yeah, Steve
Oh, yeah.
Carell.
who's like walking around through history.
Did we-
So this is the Roman period.
We
Well, I'm
talked
just
about The
thinking,
Office
like,
last time, didn't we?
what I find
we did.
fascinating about that idea is that the overlapping of different centuries gone by and people that he knew would come up in the times that he's living in, and then the changes of the times would make
Isn't
him
that Blackadder?
do different. Yeah, but those are always different reincarnations of the same guy.
But also
not.
it's all Doctor Who, but that's more like not linear.
Yeah, it's
You
not
can
linear.
travel.
That's
Yeah.
the idea. Yeah, I would love to do that, but I don't.
I'm
Now
looking
that
if there's anything. There's something called Forever. A 200-year-old man works the New York City morgue. I don't know. Morgue trying to find a key to unlock the curse of his immortality.
nine?
On Gloss.
No,
The
but
nail.
he doesn't travel through different The Immortal.
Because it would be an expensive movie, but it would be good for TV, especially with those LED screens that we have now. Don't have to do too much.
Oh, the backgrounds, the lit backgrounds.
I don't know.
Hey, is mine?
Yeah, that'll be good.
Next movie.
Every season, like a new decade.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you, Jacob.
Finally, because my movie pick got canned because we did that the hijack episode. And it was supposed to skip that, and now we get to go to the next movie, but it didn't happen. So I'll get my pick. But you guys always give me suggestions.
Who wants to live forever? Who wants to live?
I don't know. Maybe something finally good will come out on these streaming sites.
Right.
I can make you guys watch like a music documentary that came out. That'd be fun.
Let's watch Hamilton. Let's all just watch Hamilton and talk
we
about
can
Hamilton.
watch Hamilton. That came out, right?
Hamilton.
Yeah. I haven't seen it. I should see it because I've been hearing about Hamilton for like 6 years already.
I know nothing about musical theater.
Really? You haven't watched any musical
in
theater?
The Office,
Nothing.
There was a reference to this when Sweeney Todd came out, the film.
I'm not a specialist myself. And
I remember we used to watch Sweeney Todd. That was fun.
The theater one, right?
Yeah, the theater one and the film one. Both good.
Sweeney.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's wrap it back to where we abruptly interrupted Jacob in something he wanted to say go to the movie. So we're done with the movie, I think. So Jacob has a story. So let's finish off with a nice story.
Let's finish it.
Yes, Jacob, tell us a story. Tell us a story.
So I recently sold my old iPhone because I got a new iPhone. And I want to tell you my experience selling the iPhone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
iPhone time.
Shady deals.
So I listed my iPhone on Facebook Market, which I learned about recently, which is actually kind of cool. There are other local places here, as in many countries, that where you can list your items that you want to sell and meet in a dodgy alleyway and exchange cash for goods.
Yep. Or goods, or goods for goods, or
I'm like,
favors for goods.
Maybe, but no. Facebook Marketplace says you cannot sell services, only objects.
Oh, no.
But what if someone markets themselves as an object? I am an object. Use me. Loophole.
For 1 hour.
1 hour. And so I go to Facebook Marketplace and I list my iPhone and I take some great pictures. I mean, in my opinion, decent pictures.
That's like take pictures of yourself on the iPhone.
No, because listen, there's like a very low bar for photos when it comes to selling on those listings. It's like the lowest of the bars. If you just capture your device from all angles in okay lighting, you're like A+. There's so many horrible photos of like a shaky phone, half the photos of the room, who knows what. So I list it and it's a slow start, slow burn. It's like the first day, nothing. And the second day, I start getting messages from people. And usually the message is like, hey, is this available? Blah, blah, blah. And then I get this girl and she's like, hey, is it available? I'm interested. And she's like, are you willing to drop the price a little bit? I'm like, sure, that sounds fine. And then she's like, great. I'm like, awesome, we have a deal, right? She's like, yeah, we have a deal. And she's like, great. Now she goes, and I said, can we meet like tomorrow? And she's like, no. She's like, can you hold it for me for like 3 days or like 4 days? And I'm like,
3.
And I'm like thinking, I don't have any experience with selling stuff like on these places. So I'm like, sure. I'm like, if we have a deal and it's like, fine. Like I can wait 4 days. It's not a rush.
I trust you, woman.
4 days passes and I'm like, hey, so did you find out if you're free, so we can meet?
No.
She's like, no, not yet. I have to ask my landlord and I just, I didn't, and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh no, this girl's going to be not going to work out. And then the next 2 days again, she's like, I finally text her. I'm like, hey, are we meeting or not? And she's like, oh, you know what? A familial issue happened and it's just horrible and everything's bad. And the last thing I can think of is my phone. I don't know. Thanks. Cool. So what a great experience.
Thanks for wasting my time, lady.
With this girl. And she's like some college student or something. So that was my first bad experiance. And I'm like, well, great. And I had to tell everyone else, no, it's not available because I'm waiting for this.
Hold on. Give me a second. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Let me just heat up my chili.
Wait. No, you're going to miss the stories.
Full.
Wait, let me heat it up. I need to just press a button. I'll be back.
We'll be done in like 3 minutes.
Okay,
we're finishing up.
Fine,
the
I can't eat my chili until you're done.
I also made chili today as well.
And then I had to
good.
tell other people no,
Very good.
because I thought that she was gonna, come through. She didn't, and I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm done with this. And then I relisted the phone again because I was like,
Yes.
back to the market.
back on the market.
But single. The phone is single again.
The phone is single
No
again.
more
Ready to mingle.
And then my favorite was overall. In the end, I got a good buyer. It was this college student who was fair. He was upfront. He asked for like a discount because he's a college student. I'm like, no problem, makes sense. Because I just wanted to sell it. I didn't have any more patience, for all the other people. Great, he came on time.
Don't want to make
That's
a profit.
good. You're learning.
Me and
You're
Paolo
learning.
met
Just
him
like the
at-
immortal
I told
people.
him this cafe, public space. He was offered to even come to our neighborhood. Very nice kid. Came over. I showed him the phone. I even let him do a fresh install on the spot. He set it up, checked it out, gave me the monies, the shady deals, and he was on his way.
Yeah,
It was
the shady
very
deals are
smooth,
good.
and I appreciated that guy. Great. But before that, I just can't believe, because it's my first experience with this, I can't believe how many people are so like how do they have the audacity to type these things? Like I listed for a certain price, and some guy just jumps in and is like, hey, the battery isn't that good. I'll give you half the money. And it's like, no. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
That's not
great.
even a deal. Or this other guy comes up and he's like, hey, I'm interested in the phone. Cool. And I wrote in the description, like, only in Zagreb I can meet up, And he's like, hey, I'm, 100 kilometers away. And it's like, why did you even type to me? Like these kinds of situations. So that was interesting.
So horrible.
So funny.
Dude, just
great.
wait until you need to sell a car, man. You'll shoot yourself in the head.
Oh no!
And by the way, I want to say the worst thing, which I don't know if you ever experienced this, and I still don't understand the logic, is some people have the audacity to say, do you do like a trade? I can trade you my 7 for your like 11, iPhone 11, and I'll just pay you the difference. And it's like, why would you ever trade down?
Why would you trade? Like
why would you
I understand
trade?
when you trade, if they had a plethora of things and you might find, but like, what's the chance of like, oh, I will trade you this old coffee machine for your iPhone? What
I don't
situation would that work?
Because I've seen listings, like I was looking for research to see others' listings of the iPhone 7. It says sometimes they write iPhone 7, possible trade for iPhone 11 with some, like, I don't even know. How does that work? Like, why would you trade an old phone?
Yeah, why would they be trading their 11 for an old 7?
I don't know. It beats me. So anyway,
We
in
don't
the
know.
end, those are my brief stories.
The world may never know.
And I remember
Good
you,
story.
Tim, you
Tune in
sold
next
your
time.
camera, right? And you said you had a okay experience, so it reminded me of
Yeah,
your-
there's a man for half an hour. He was touching the camera,
Oh, man.
and then he bought
And by the way, I
it.
want to say
Yeah.
the last
Okay.
woman that was weird was she said, like, does the phone have papers? I don't know what she meant by papers. I guess receipt. I don't know why
Like
that's
this is
important.
like a
Does it have papers?
And then she goes, and
this
where,
is a half-breed iPhone.
and then she goes, and where can I come look at it?
Not a full breed.
And it's like, yeah, woman, because I'm just available for you just to come over to look
Yeah.
at it for half an hour and then be like, I don't want it. Bye-bye.
Wow.
So a lot of those people I
Wow.
didn't reply to.
But you successfully
Yes.
Yeah,
got rid of that iPhone.
I
It's
succeeded.
gone now.
got your money
Will
back.
you miss the little chip? Will you miss the little chip on the corner from when you,
You
broke
know,
it
there were
at the
memories there,
concert
and
from the Foo Fighters?
That college kid doesn't know the memories of the Foo Fighters
Doesn't know.
concert, but
the
what can you
sadness?
do?
You should have told him. It should have been like this dramatic moment. Look here, see.
And let me show you photos of our trip. Oh, I
Let me
can't.
tell
'cause
you.
I got
Dave
deleted.
Grohl
Yes.
kicked my phone.
He kicked my phone.
So
I
anyway.
love him.
He kick. How
Yeah,
can
that's
he?
about
How
it
can
for
he
the
kick?
podcast, I believe.
How
Phil has to
can
go
he
heat
kick?
up his chili.
Woo!
Yep.
No, I'm good. I'm fine. I don't have to go. I thought I could heat it up, come back, and be like,
can,
just
Dave
listen
Grohl.
until it's heating
Anyway,
up. But I guess not.
All right. That's
Well,
it,
anyway,
that's it.
this
That's it.
this was our
Podcast.
show. I would have loved to stay longer, but we
gotta
gotta
keep
keep
it-
things a
keep it
little,
nice and-
little short. We gotta
nice
keep
and,
things short.
You got
Pro.
things to do.
Nice
You
and-
gotta,
nice and neat.
You're probably procrastinating to work right now.
Hell yeah, I am.
You think you can
prolong.
what's it
Escape.
called? No,
I
you
can
think you
prolong.
can multitask, but you can't. Your tasks are taking twice as long listening to us. So yeah, we're doing you a favor. We're stopping
But the
right
good
now.
news
Oh, I
is
thought you were talking to me. I was gonna call you
But the
Phil.
good news is that
That is the worst.
the person, hello,
I was gonna
think
call
you're
you.
talking to me, Phil. Now you've lost your mind completely.
I've
but
lost
listen,
my
the
mind.
good news is that the person listening to this is quite possibly multitasking, and we are helping them multitask. So I think that's a win.
Yeah, clean the
dishes,
the rooms,
do your
clean them.
spreadsheets,
Yeah.
Do
whatever
the
you need to do.
dishes.
And stop listening to us
Draw
in
your-
full double speed.
Yeah,
That's just
come on,
unnatural.
that's not.
That's
if
not
you're doing
fair.
that right now,
No
I
double
feel
speed.
like disrespected and hurt. You know, because my voice is representative of how I sound like. I don't talk like a chipmunk.
You don't talk like... No, that's not how it goes.
I know. That was a joke. I know that it's just the speed, not changing the pitch.
Just the speed, not the pitch. Okay, that was a
Maybe
good
there are
one.
settings.
Thank you for listening again.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, guys.
See you next time.
See you soon.
Glad you got this on your mind.
Sounds great.
And then I'm gone.
So, Tim, I heard that you got a BIKE and your wife. All right, you're a frozen man.
Are we
Did
back?
anyone hear me?
No.
Anyone here?
All right. I said, Tim, you and your wife
You there?
got BIKES.
Bix?
Oh, I messed
Oh, no, yeah,
the E.
Bicus. Bicus.
Okay, you know,
We
bikes,
see it in the
bikes.
background, Tim. We see it behind you.
Yeah,
We see
yeah,
the bike.
A BK.
The black stealth. Oh.
What was that?
What was that? That was
What
bad.
happened?
You sound like
happened?
you're in Soviet Russia. Oh, better.
Okay.
What's going on, man? Badness? Mm-hmm. We can hear very well. My segue just failed. Absolutely. Hey, we should put a marker to know this is not in the podcast. Whoa, dude, you're a robot.
He's a robot voice.
You're a robot. You're like blending and doubling. Let's redo
My.
the whole call. Bye-bye.
My, how the turntables have turned.
Hello?
Oh, robot
bad,
voice
man.
Tim. Robot Tim.
voice. Well, I guess now you're gone.
Yeah, you sound like you sound like you're talking through a fan.
Mm-hmm. This is what I had a problem with Discord one time.
It's the input thing. You just have to do the input.
Really?
Yeah, just either restart Discord or change the
It
input.
sounds like it's a restart Discord kind of dealio.
Let us stop recording.
Okie doke. Why?
What?
Too much to cut out?
I'm afraid I'll be confused and our times will be different.
But Tim's
We
recording
can do
the
a clap
same
sync
thing.
again. It doesn't matter.
Okay. I'm just thinking Tim.
How are you? Look at my guns.
Thanks. I'm doing fine actually. Not too bad. Not too much. It's happening.
I found out that my food tracker tracks fats and
Hey, you're back.
proteins and hello. Everything the
body
body needs.